Hey, this is Sanrail, and I'm taking a second look at cities Skylines. This is the city that I've been working on. I don't think it's the one that I showed in my last video. I've made a couple more like restarts since then, but just check this out. I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. So here's where I started. This is the Twin Rivers starting area. Made a little industrial area there, and then made some commercial and residential in there, and then expanded out this way, and then made a little farming area here with the peace sign. And then I made like a forest area here, added some people there, and then here's where they do the ore and stuff. And the traffic was really bad because the residential was right here, so I created some freeway that goes straight into the industrial area, and that helped. And I also used a policy on this district right here to disable heavy traffic so trucks aren't allowed to go through there. Because what was happening is the trucks were all in there, and number one, it's creating a whole bunch of noise pollution and causing people problems, but then service vehicles couldn't get around. So I did that, and that really helped in that area. And then here's one where it's got some oil industry and have people living there, and then that wasn't enough, so they wanted like some white collar work, so I gave them some of that. And there's some places to shop. And then made this area over here. They wanted more and more white collar work, so I added a whole bunch of those, and then a few places to shop. And that still wasn't enough. They still wanted more white collar work, so I made this whole area right here. It's kind of a commercial office park, but of course added a few people here. Now this is something that I kind of figured out while I was playing. I noticed that people would get a sick icon that it looked like headphones. So I go to the noise pollution map, and this whole area right here was red, and it had people living there, and they were constantly getting sick with noise pollution. And then what would happen is it caused kind of a catastrophic meltdown, because these people would get sick, then they'd die. It would cause all these emergency vehicles to have to come in here to like take them to the doctors and stuff, but then they would go ahead and die anyway, so then it had hearses all in here, and then these people were dying, and the hearses couldn't get to them, and it was just a mess. So what I discovered is that commercial buildings, like shops and stuff, cause a lot of noise pollution, so you have to kind of go away a little bit from conventional wisdom. You would think you'd want commercial stuff right next to your residential, but you really don't. You actually want your commercial to be sort of blended in with the places they work and things. And the office buildings, they don't cause noise pollution, so you can mix those in with residential, but you actually want to have a little bit of separation. People don't like freeways, they cause a lot of noise. These things here cause a lot of noise. The what do they call them? Unique buildings. Almost all of them have a lot of noise pollution. And they also cost money to maintain, so you don't want to just plop them down left and right. If you look at the budget here, you can see that unique buildings, I'm spending almost as much on those as I am on healthcare and fire. Let's see what else. I got these sewer processing plants, and look, this is how many it takes to run this city, and I can still use a little more, and even with that it still causes a little bit of sewer pollution. It's just not as much. And all these water pumps, and then I've got more water pumps over here, more water pumps over there. Anyway, so this is my big sprawling city. Now, let me show you this. This is hilarious. Cracks me up. Alright. So, in the park's view, they call them decorations. It tracks what's called leisure, or you can just click on the clock here and it'll give you that. And so, like these people right here, you know, they're not very happy. These office buildings and stuff. So, you can put stuff down like a small park, a plaza with trees, park with trees, large playground, basketball court, and stuff like that. But this is my favorite. It's like, oh, you guys aren't happy? Huh? You guys are upset? Well, here, have a bouncy castle. And people are like, yay, bouncy castle! You watch all the buildings turning blue because they're so happy about a bouncy castle. Oh, and they love them too. Like, let's see, over here I've got one. And look at that. They're like, woohoo, it's a bouncy castle! Yay! Oh, I love it. Anyway, so my overall assessment of this game is it is just fun. It's the most fun city builder I've ever played in my whole life. It's just, there's so much room for creativity. You can make little figure 8 things, you can make football things, you can make peace signs, you can do all this stuff, and you just got so much room. You just keep going and going. Like when I first started out, it was just like this little area right here, and that's all I had. And now it just goes on, and I'm just trying to think, where am I going to go next? Now, they just recently released an update. A lot of people were complaining about commercial demand because it was really low. Well, what was happening is that these parks here that give people leisure activity were actually lowering commercial demand. So the more parks you put out, the less people want to shop, which seems kind of silly to me. So they fixed that, and I hopped out to well, something was happening. I had a whole bunch of people all of a sudden, for no reason that I could figure out. Everybody was just dying left and right. I had people dying here, people dying out here, people dying in here. I just had skull and crossbones popping up everywhere, and my traffic's not really that bad, so the only thing I can figure is that I grew too fast, and then I had too many old people, and they all started dying off, and it caused kind of an infrastructure chain reaction or something where the emergency services were blocking the hearses and everything like that. I don't know for sure, but abandoned buildings were popping up left and right. I had hundreds of them. So I downloaded a mod, and it's the most popular mod on Steam, and it's an auto bulldoze mod, because it was just taking way too much time clicking on all those abandoned buildings. Now, abandoned buildings will repopulate after a while. It just takes a long time. If you bulldoze it, then a new one will grow up immediately. So what was happening is I had, like, I don't know, maybe 74,000 people, and all of a sudden it dropped down to like 60,000. And then I had industries that didn't have workers because all the people were gone. And so that caused all kinds of problems. And then I started losing all this money. I was going in the red. Anyway, the problem with mods like that is it disables your Steam achievements. So I hit 80,000 people while all that was going on, while I was recovering from it, but unfortunately it took away my ability to earn achievements on this save file. So, and as I was tabbed out downloading that mod, installing it, I saw that the game was downloading like a lot more than that mod should have been. It was like this progress bar, and it was downloading stuff. So I looked, and I saw that they had just released a patch to fix a lot of stuff, including the commercial demand, plus a few technical glitches that a few people have had. But this game has been completely glitch free. I've put hours and hours and hours into it, and I haven't seen a single glitch. I paid $40 for the deluxe edition, and I've already put over 40 hours into it. So any game that gives you at least $1 an hour worth of enjoyment out of is well worth it, in my opinion. And this game definitely is. But now that I've figured out more about how noise pollution affects health and how to avoid getting noise pollution into where your people live and all that kind of stuff, plus the commercial demand fix, and learning a little bit more about how to manage traffic and stuff, I think I would like to start a new map and call this like a learning experience. But I don't know, I'm pretty proud of it, so I'm probably gonna hang on to it just because it's so cool. I like the peace sign farmer place and the upside down house. It looks kind of like a wine glass or something, I don't know, but I like that. Anyway, so yeah, I came up with some pretty fun ideas that I like. Also, you would think that one-way streets are really good for traffic, and they are. They are pretty good at managing traffic, but what happens is, let me show you. I'm going to go to a service building, like a police station or something. Or let's go to fire. So, like this area right here has a lot of one-way streets. Is this a good place for it, I guess? No, because... Hold on, let me look. Let's try this. Okay. See how some of these streets are kind of grayed out? Well, it's because they're one-way streets, and for some reason the school has trouble routing traffic through there. I don't know why, but it causes you to have to place a lot more service buildings than you normally would just to get the proper coverage. So you trade traffic efficiency for having to spend too much money on service buildings. So that's part of my budget problem here. If you look, I actually lowered taxes on commercial before they fixed it, so I could raise that back up. But if you look, I have 18,000 on fire safety alone, and then if you look at the fire safety map, I mean, I've got fire stations everywhere, and there's still a lot of, like, see, I got 2 fire stations in here, and all this stuff's red. So I don't know if that's like a glitch, or if I just need to build bigger stations and fewer of them, or what the deal is. But you can see kind of, like this has a lot of, I'm using a lot of one-way streets here. You can kind of see what it does. See, the fire coverage can't get behind that, so I have to go way over here. Wait, where do you go? You know, where do you go to get all that coverage? You put it right here, maybe? But then it doesn't get the inside part, so if you put it here, and that gets more of the inside part, but then it fades out by the time it gets over there. And that's just from having, like, too many fire stations, I guess. Or, I mean, too many one-way streets. And see, even that, it's still just barely put a dent in there. So, like I said, I don't know if that's a glitch or if that's just the way they meant for it to be. Let's look. Let's get rid of that, and let's put a big one here. Let's see what happens. Oh, we need more room. Okay, we put it right there. Ah. Yeah, that's probably what I need to do. Just do more big ones. What's the price difference? It costs $14.40 a week. It's $5.60 a week. So it costs almost 3 times as much, but it got a lot better coverage. Excellent coverage. So, yeah. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently on my next town, but... Oh, wait, that's cops. Oops. Still. It's, Oh, yeah. It's not quite as good as the cops. Anyway. I don't know. Yeah, but that's part of the fun of it, you know? It's like a puzzle. It's just, you got traffic challenges and zoning challenges, all these different factors to consider. See, I left, like, the inside of my town, the main core of my town, I left it low density, because I just wanted it to be nice. I wanted it to be real nice houses, and this is where I'd let it, like, the fancy people live. Yeah. Oh, yeah, something else they changed with this. Options, audio, The chirper volume. Chirper. There's actually a kill a chirper mod. But it's kind of nice at times, but it was just chirping all the time. It's like, just stop. So I'm glad they added a volume control. But anyway, that's about it. That's what I wanted to show. Just what a bigger city looks like. And just how much fun this game is. I just can't stop playing it. I love it so much. Alright, that's it. Peace out. Wait. Peace out.